through repetition, 3 different stories told back to back to back, all revolve around the one. He talks about the 99 sheep and the one that goes astray, and talks about how that shepherd would go and find that one sheep and bring that one back into the fold, and he would rejoice as the one gets brought back into the family. Then the woman that has 10 coins and loses one, she sweeps the whole house, searching high and low just to find the one missing. And finally, the prodigal son, who leaves the father's house with his inheritance in hand and does nothing more than throw it all away in wasteful living. But when that son comes to his senses and turns his heart back toward the father's house, the father is waiting for him in the distance and breaks all Jewish custom, pulls up his cloak and runs to his son without judgment and without condemnation to meet his child that has finally come home. He never reached over the one to save the many. It's always been about the one. The one. The one. You can tell a lot about a person with how they operate under pressure. It's one thing to have an ideal or character or conviction principle when everybody's singing your praises. But it's different when you face the pressure of pain. When you face the pressure of criticism. You have to really decide who you are and what you are about. And even to the cross, Jesus keeps the same energy. He keeps the same passion. He keeps the same focus all the way to his death, where he is beaten, bloodied, and bruised, hanging between 2 criminals, becoming like the very people he came to save. He says in Luke 23:32-43, 2 others, both criminals, were led out to be executed with him. When they came to a place called the Skull, they nailed him to the cross. And the criminals were also crucified, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing." And the soldiers gambled for his clothes by throwing dice. The crowd watched, and the leaders scoffed. "He saved others," they said. "Let him save himself if he's really God's Messiah, the chosen one." The soldiers mocked him too by offering him a drink of sour wine. They called out to him, "If you're the king of the Jews, come on, bruh. Save yourself." A sign was fastened above him with these words, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals hanging beside him scoffed, "So you're the Messiah, are you? Prove it by saving yourself and us too while you're at it." But the other criminal protested, "Don't you fear God even when you have been sentenced to die? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus replied, "I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise." we don't know what kind of life this second criminal lived. But we know that his choices brought him to the ultimate form of punishment and crucifixion. But we don't only gather that, we realize that these same choices brought him to the ultimate appointment with destiny. Needing forgiveness and hanging next to the forgiver. Needing redemption and hanging next to the Redeemer. Needing salvation and hanging next to the Savior. And in this moment, we find this great hope, knowing that God is so kind and he's so good that even the wrong choices we've made can get us within reach of Jesus. I don't know what choices you have made in your life. I don't know the good, the bad, or the ugly, but I know that those choices have led you to this place today, a place of forgiveness, a place of freedom, a place of healing, a place within reach of Jesus. This man had made all kinds of choices, and obviously many of them were poor choices. But in this instant, he recognized that Jesus wasn't just the Savior of the world. He was the Savior of the one. That thief made one good choice. And it didn't change his immediate circumstances, but it changed his eternity. And in a moment, he went from lost forever outside of the presence of God to found forever in the presence of God. One good choice, one good decision. I didn't come to guilt you over your choices. I didn't come to condemn you for your decisions. I didn't come to judge the path that you took to get here today. And the good news is, neither did Jesus, for he came not into the world but to condemn it, but to give you life and life more abundantly. What I can tell you today is you have the opportunity to make one good choice that could change the direction of not only your life, but your eternity today. One good choice. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. This moment sends tremors through people's theology. It doesn't satisfy what so many people believe you need to be saved. And yet, one naked thief on a cross utters one sentence: Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said, I got you. Let's get him off that cross and into a class. I know Jesus is there, and I know he said what he said, but let's get you baptized. Oh, yeah. I know what Jesus said, but that's just Jesus. We've figured this out since then. Let's go. Jesus, remember me. And his request was enough not only to make Jesus remember him, but to forget everything else he had done. And in a moment, this man's life changed forever. This is astonishing. This makes no sense. This is illogical. That Jesus is about to die for the sins of the world, for countless souls for centuries. He was about to seal salvation, fulfill all prophecy, satisfy all the requirements of the law for billions of people who would come to believe. And he doesn't reach past this thief to get to us. And I just have to envision in my mind that all the people that were standing there scoffing at him, ridiculing him, spitting on him, treating him like trash. The same people that were there when he fed 5,000, and the same people that were there when paralyzed people walked out of rooms with their mats, and the same people that watched him turn mud into eyeballs, and the same people that saw all of these wonderful miracles and heard all these parables and all the teachings and all the stories. And they were there when he talked about the coin, and they were there when he talked about the sheep, and they were there when he talked about the prodigal. Finally step back and realize, even under the pressure of crucifixion, he stood on his conviction that not even the misery and the agony of the cross could move him off of his mission. And they realized the thief is the coin. The thief is the sheep. The thief is the prodigal. And it's my hope for us in this room today that we start to connect the dots and we start to put the pieces together. That this isn't just something that we learn about in Sunday school and these are cute nursery rhymes and stories, but we were the lost coin. We were the lost sheep. We were the prodigal son. We were the one that Jesus came to rescue, because he's always reaching for one more. And that's good news for us today. That means he's reaching for you beyond your brokenness and beyond your unbelief, beyond your skepticism and beyond your imperfections, beyond your criminal behavior. He's reaching for you. Beyond your questions and beyond your doubts, he's reaching for you. Beyond your successes and beyond your failures, he's reaching for you. You are the one that Jesus died on the cross to redeem, set free, and save. When he was on the cross, you were on his mind.